Nah, that's fucking wild. What's the craziest like artist that you guys know?
The craziest
Kanye.
artist.
Aside from Kanye, like artists aside from modern day,
Like absolute nut job.
absolute nut jobs. Yeah.
Fucking Norman, what's that nigga? Fucking who that nigga called?
Who?
Yo, Albert Einstein. But you know this nigga had a son?
Not only do I know that, I actually know that he was a deadbeat dad. Apparently, did you guys know that?
That shit's crazy. I didn't even know he had a kid. Nothing.
He had a whole family. So apparently, he got married to a lady, had a kid with her. But then once he started getting like a little bit famous, he actually had an affair to the point where him and his wife became estranged. But they had like an agreement where she would stay with him, but he kind of just treated her like a pet more than anything else.
Yeah.
Like this guy was fucked up.
Describe that. What do you mean by a pet?
Like a pet. Like he knew, like, you know how in Invincible where what's it called? What's the nigga name? The Viltrumite.
Omni-Man?
Omni-Man. Where he like talked about his wife where she was like, I'm better than her in every way, shape, or form. I'm gonna outlive her. Like that type of shit. Like it was him being, I'm so smart. She is not not even in my league. Type of situation.
Albert was moving like that.
He was moving like that.
Albert was moving crazy.
That nigga outsmarted her.
He was like that. So apparently, like after some time, eventually they did get divorced, and then he married his cousin.
Oh shit!
That was normal back then.
Back then it was normal.
Nigga, normal. How far back was that?
That's like in the 60s, somewhere
in the
around there.
60s.
That's deep. That's deep.
That's
though.
when we was dropping atomic bombs on niggas.
Yeah.
The 60s is crazy to marry your cousin.
Oh shit. Nah, Albert Einstein was a wild boy. He was a wild boy. What's it called? And then yeah, he had a son. Apparently, like he was a deadbeat dad. He only visited him one time, I think. Apparently his son ended up in a mental institution, and he only visited him like one time after he went into the mental institution in 30 plus years. Like Albert was a bad dad. Like people normally don't talk about that. In the book that I was reading, because this was in a book I was reading, but it was explaining like that's some of the sacrifices that people like that are high up in like different areas of their fields. Like that's just some of the sacrifices they had to make in order to be as good as they were, because they had to always focus on their work and shit like that.
Yo, conspiracy theory.
Mm-hmm.
Albert Einstein gave his son up to the insane asylum so he could have his name on the atomic bomb.
That's crazy.
I heard this nigga can't even tie his shoes.
Until he was 3 or some shit like that. No, he couldn't walk until he was 3 or some shit like that. But I don't think that he gave up his son for that.
It's just a conspiracy theory.
His life work in the atomic field and physics is what got him his name in the atomic bomb project. So did you know that what's it called? That Albert Einstein actually sent out a letter to the president at the time, specifically stating that he didn't think that building atomic weapons was actually a good idea. He was actually tricked by the government in order to jump on board. Yeah, jump on board with making the bombs and shit like that.
Yeah, I feel like those scientists that know they could make something crazy, they know. Like he feels like since he made it, he knows the best way to use it. If he gives it to somebody else,
there was no good way to use it
for whatever.
No. There was never any good way to use it.
Oh yeah, atomic bomb is crazy.
For nuclear power, like the actual like base science to make nuclear power. Yeah. It was we needed
but
that.
I'm saying, let's say you give me a bomb, right?
Okay.
And you know how powerful it is. I just know it's just a powerful bomb. You are definitely gonna hesitate more than me if you want to use it or not.
Correct.
Me, I'll be like, yo, I just got this bomb. I'm about to blow these niggas up. Keep fucking around. With you, you'd be like, you'll think about more of like the aftermath, how much damage, because you have more in-depth knowledge.
I'll give you an example of a situation where both the person who doesn't know how it works and the person that does know how it works still came to the conclusion that they were going to test an explosive like that. So back during the Cold War, when they made the Tsar Bomba, so that's the biggest nuclear explosion that has ever been detonated. It was 50 megatons or some shit like that. It was originally supposed to be 100 megatons. So the scientist that created it actually found out, like after doing all the math and the science, he actually learned that because of the downdraft and how like the how the weather patterns and shit like that would have worked, it actually would have taken nuclear material off into the public, and it would kill thousands of people over a couple of decades. Like, it wouldn't be instant, but over time, people would have died because of just the detonation of those bombs. So he started doing the math, and he originally, for the Tsar Bomba, before they detonated it, it was supposed to be for 100 megatons. So that was going to be the largest explosion that had ever been detonated in history at that point, to the point that a bomb that big would be able to wipe out pretty much a chunk of the U.S. One bomb alone would be able to knock out a chunk of the U.S. easily. So once he did the math, he actually calculated that even if they did this in the middle of the ocean, away from every point of life and everything like that, it would actually have generated about 100,000 deaths over the next 60 or 70 years, he calculated. In the numbers that he ran. He gave that to the Minister of Defense of Russia or something like that before they actually went through it, and he was not having it. Because this was at the height of the Cold War, and the U.S. had already tested like even bigger and badder bombs than what they had dropped on Japan and shit like that. So he explained that situation to the prime minister or the dude of defense, and he was just like, listen, I don't give a fuck. We're still going to blow these shits up because we're going to look weak right now if we don't detonate them. But then after some convincing, instead of detonating it at its full yield of 100 megatons, he actually convinced them to drop it down to 50. And the dude was like, all right, we'll work out 50 because that's still bigger than whatever the US dropped. But at the same time, I probably will get pushback if we explode something too massive. When they detonated that bomb, the sound and frequency of that explosion was heard around the world 4 times over.
Damn.
And it's still calculated that thousands of people decades later died because of that explosion. The island where they exploded it is known as like Death Island or something like that in Russia. I forgot what the exact name of the island, but it's associated with just death by going there.
So what if they would have dropped that 100? Because they basically took it down halfway.
They don't know. So here's the problem with when they first created these atomic bombs. They didn't know exactly how to stop the reaction from going. So assuming that if it's a bomb big enough, you could probably wipe out the entire planet. Technically.
Right.
You just need enough material.
So we kind of just like split off, because what if that guy would have never convinced the general to drop it down? They fucked around. Boom. Now we're in like a apocalyptic world. How long you survive in an apocalyptic world? Don't lie. Don't lie. Now I'm talking about like mutants.
Do I get weapons?
You got to make your own.
I'm making my own.
So we talking about Fallout?
Fallout.
And they gonna lie, we're fucked.
We're cooked.
I'm not leaving that vault.
And not even that. They went into the vault.
Eventually you would have to leave because you have to get food and shit like that.
True. But I'll leave like later in life. Like I'm not gonna be in a rush to get out that fucking vault.
Figure out what's outside. Now, what if society actually like recovers really quickly and everybody like comes together and kumbayas their way to a new society?
That's great. That's the best case scenario.
I ain't gonna lie, we don't live together now. You think they're gonna do that when an atomic bomb fucking detonates?
Probably not.
I believe it. Because sometimes it's like, you know, when you're little and you being bad, you just need a little smack to let you know, like, yo, relax.
Yeah, but then
that would be the smack.
The problem is that that's not a life or death situation. When you're competing for food, yeah, you're not gonna be.
But it's not like, yeah, you are competing for food.
Yeah,
you're right. It's gonna be bad either way. But at least like, if like the regular niggas who paid attention in grade school know how to plant a seed, y'all gonna be alright.
Probably.
Allegedly, I wouldn't know. I'm not leaving the vault, so I wouldn't even know what's going on outside. You feel me?
Nah, that's just crazy. Nah, but what's it called? During that same time that they detonated the Tsar Bomba, did you guys know about Mr. Edward Teller? Have you guys heard of this man?
What the fuck is that?
So this is the guy that created the hydrogen bomb. So he created the bombs that were even more explosive than the ones that were dropped in Nagasaki or Hiroshima. He was a U.S. scientist working at Los Alamos. So after he created that, he was like, I can go bigger. So he started a secret U.S. project called Project Sundial. Essentially, this was going to be the mother of all nukes. It was supposed to be a nuke that was so heavy and so powerful that you actually could not carry it on a bomber. The idea was, if the U.S. was under attack, he was just gonna blow up everything. that was the idea, the concept that the U.S. was planning on in case they ever got under
just kamikaze style.
Yeah. There was just a self-detonate the entire country.
So it's just fuck the U.S.
Nobody can have it. It was gonna destroy the world.
Fuck everybody.
It was gonna destroy the world. A bomb that big would destroy the world. Like, the fallout would be insane. It actually got to the point where he actually made a prototype of that idea. The only reason that thing got shut down is because Congress found out about it and they shut down the program. If not, we would probably still have that shit lying around somewhere. Like, that shit is wild.
So you think like people contact him to make it for other countries?
No, hell no. That guy's probably the U.S. government probably killed him. Like the knowledge. I don't know if they did, but the knowledge that he had about like U.S. secret programs and shit like that, like yeah. That type of technology you can't let the Russians get.
They offed his ass right away.
Probably. I don't know. I didn't look that far into his history.
They say you go home and take a nap real quick. Nigga never made it home.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Like, they probably could kill you any way they wanted to, bro. They'd be like, here, give me a handshake. Anthrax. Dead.
Nah. You know what country has the craziest way of getting rid of people they don't like?
Russia.
Nah, yeah.
So they actually...
And they're always sick when they die.
They poison people's tea with uranium and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's at the type of level that they be on. Or if not, recently, they had a couple government officials who mysteriously fell out of the windows to their deaths. Like, that's the type of timing that Russia be on. Or do you remember...
World.
Did you see the Russian generals? So they had mercenaries that were flying in a jet. One of the mercenaries actually turned his crew around and tried to attack the government. They let it slide for a little bit, but then mysteriously, a couple of weeks later, that guy's plane got shot down out of the air. Like, Russia, it'd be crazy sometimes with their timing.
And
like,
that's just the stuff we know about.
That we know about.
We don't know about.
Exactly. Yo.